So hello friends, welcome back, and in this video we are going to see arithmetic and geometric progressions, its nth term and some formulas, and also we will see some basic series which are very readily used. Then we will also see quadratic equations and some mean median formulas as well. So starting with the arithmetic progression and geometric progression. So starting with the arithmetic progression, what is arithmetic progression? It is any series which has a constant common difference, which means that if I have a series like this 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on, then I can clearly see that for any two consecutive elements the common difference, which means the difference right here is 2, 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 which means that if I take the difference of two consecutive elements, it remains same throughout the series. These kinds of series are called as the arithmetic series, and thus we will study these series in arithmetic progression. Now the first thing, or you can say the main thing in any series, if you find out, is the first term and the common difference. Now the first term is the first term itself which is in the series. Here I represent the first term as a, and the first term is 2 here. Then the common difference, it is d. Here as you can see, to find the common difference, it is nothing but the 2 right here which I showed you. So it is nothing but it would be 4 minus 2. See, you can simply take the first term and the zero term, or you can say the first term and the second term, to find the common difference, and it will be nothing but 4 minus 2, which is actually 2. So I can clearly say that if I have the series 4, 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on, then I can clearly write that series as a plus d, because see, what I am saying that my 4 which was obtained right here, it was nothing but 2 plus the 2 is from here and the 2 is from here up below. So it will be 2 plus 2. Very fine, it is nothing but 4. Now you can clearly see that for my series right here, it is 6, right? So 6, how is the 6 obtained? 6 is obtained by 4 plus 2. 4 is the last term and 2 is the common difference. So my 6 is obtained like this. Now I can clearly say that my 4 was nothing but 2 plus 2. So my common difference is counted twice and my first term is always counted once. So my 6 is represented as a plus 2 into d. 8 is a plus 3 into d. So I can clearly say that my first term is a, my next term is a plus d, my next term is a plus 2d, and my next term is a plus 3d. So yeah, you can clearly see that for the nth term it will be nothing but a plus n minus 1d. Now how I said that? It is because if it is the first term, it is the second term, it is the third term, it is the fourth term. So as you can clearly see that for the fourth term, I am writing as 3. Right. So for any nth term, I will write it as a plus n minus 1 into d. Right. Now I simply wrote the same thing right here. The nth term of an AP is a plus n minus 1 into d. Now we need to find the sum of this sequence, which means we need to find the sum of this arithmetic progression. Now to find the sum of the arithmetic progression, I clearly know that what is my average. My average is nothing but my sum upon the number of numbers. So my average is nothing but sum upon n, right? So my sum, it is nothing but average into n. Now for average of evenly spaced numbers, it is nothing but first term plus last term upon 2. So by that you can find the average. Average is nothing but first term plus last term upon 2 into n, and is for the number of numbers, which is right here. Then my first term was nothing but a. My last term, which is my nth term, it is nothing but a plus n minus 1 into d, and upon 2 is right here, upon 2 into n. If I solve this, which means I add a, so it will be 2a plus n minus 1 into d. It is the formula of sum of arithmetic progression. So you just need to remember the sum formula and the nth term formula. It is very readily asked in the problem A and B, and basically it can be asked anywhere. So it's a very small concept of maths. Now moving on to the geometric progression part. In the geometric progression, it is same as that of the arithmetic progression. In the geometric progression, we have nothing but the common ratio is same. And what is common ratio? Common ratio is nothing but the ratio of two consecutive numbers of the series, which means that if I have the series right here as 2, 4, 8, 16 and 32, Then my common ratio for this, it is 4 upon 2, which is 2. For this, it is 8 upon 4, which is 2. For right here, we have 16 upon 8, which is 2. For right here, we have 32 upon 16, which is 2. So same as in the above, we have seen that we have first term and common difference. So in here, we have first term and common ratio. So the first term will be nothing but represented by A. It is 2 right here, and the common ratio R, it is nothing but 4 upon 2, which is actually 2. So as we derive the above formula that, okay, we have series as 2, 4, 8, 16. So my 2 is nothing but A, my 4 is nothing but A into R, because see, I said that my 4 upon 2 is 2. Here the 2 is, you can say R, it is A, so it is A, it is R, so my 4 is nothing but A into R, right? So I can write my 4 as A into R, and thus similarly I can write my 8 as A into R square. So you can clearly see that if it is the first term, it is the second term, it is the third term, it is the fourth term. So for 4, I am saying my R as 3, like R raised to the power whole power is 3. Like for my nth term, it will be nothing but A raised to the power, R raised to the power n minus 1, right? So it is my nth term of my geometric progression. Thus, I can clearly say that for my nth term of the geometric progression, it will be nothing but A raised to the power R minus 1. Now, the sum of geometric progression is A R raised to the power n minus 1 upon R minus 1, or many people write it as A 1 minus R raised to the power n upon 1 minus R. So it is nothing but you just extracted the minus sign from above and below, and you just have that. So it is basically used when my R is more than 1, and it is used when my R is less than 1. Basically the formulas are same, it is just the minus sign is like moved forward, and we have that for numerator and denominator. Then we have a few series which are important. Now in GP, we also have the sum of infinite GP. Now, the term that sum of infinite GP, it is valid when the common ratio is less than 1, which means that the series should be reducing, because if it is increasing, then it might result in an infinite sum. So the sum formula of GP, it is only valid when my common ratio is less than 1. Now you can clearly see that for my series right here, if it is 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 4, 1 by 8, and so on up till infinity. So it's an infinite sequence. So it's an infinite series. Then, as you can clearly see that my common ratio, it is 1 by 2, it is less than 1. So my basic formula for my sum of infinite GP, it is nothing but A upon 1 minus R, where A is the first term and R is my common ratio. So you can clearly see that if I write my A as 1, because my 1 is the first term and my common ratio is 1 by 2, so it will be nothing but 1 upon 1 by 2, 1 upon 1 by 2, which is actually 2. So I obtained my 2 right here. So although you can easily find out by just one line of formula, but I will highly recommend you guys to remember this, because it is very readily used. Then we have some few series which you need to remember. So the first one, as I showed you above as well, it is the infinite GP. The only thing which I showed you above was the first term here, it was 1, but here I showed the rest of the GP part. So yeah, it will be nothing but 1. As it was 2 here, so I just subtracted my 1, so I obtained my 1. Then the sum of my consecutive n natural numbers, it will be nothing but n into n plus 1 by 2. So sum of n consecutive natural numbers with their squares, so it will be nothing but n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. Sum of cubes of n consecutive natural number, it is nothing but n into n plus 1 by 2 ka whole square. So these are the 4 series, or you can say the formulas which you need to remember of these series. Although if I should say, then only the natural number sum will be asked, although you can compute it with the AP formula, although you can compute all of these with the formulas, but yeah, it is very good to remember these because they are very readily used. Now let us see the absolute, what is absolute, and what is mod, and what is quadratic equations, and the mean median formulas. So starting with the absolute, it is nothing but mod of x. In class 11th and class 12th, you must have studied about mod. It is nothing but it results in a positive number. Now mod of x, if my x is less than 0, it will be nothing but minus x, and if my x is more than 0, it will be nothing but x itself. So as you can see that if my x, it is x, so you can clearly see that it is x if my x is more than 0 and it is minus x if my x is less than 0. So yeah, you should remember this formula. The only thing which you need to remember is that mod will, you can say absolute, or in maths we say mod, and in computer science we say absolute. So it will always result in a positive value. And when I open this mod, it will be opened in these two ways, which means plus and minus respectively, according to the condition that if my x is more than 0 or x is less than 0. Now there is a problem regarding the whole question in interview bit. We will see at the end of the video, which means that after 2 or 3 lectures. But yeah, for the problem which I'm gonna show you further, you should remember that, okay, how to open my mod. And for example, that if my value is mod of a minus b, then I can write it as a minus b, or I can write it as minus of a minus b. So I can open the mod by plus and minus. So yeah, we have the interview bit problem. It's a very easy problem and you will love that problem. Now moving on to the quadratic equations. It is nothing but an equation which has the degree as 2. Now we can represent any quadratic equation as ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Here the coefficient of x square is a, coefficient of x is b, and the coefficient of x raised to the power 0 is c, which means the constant term. So any equations which has degree as 2, it's a quadratic equation. Now in quadratic equation we need to find the discriminant, which is nothing but b square minus 4ac, which means that square of the coefficient of x minus 4 into square of the minus 4 into coefficient of x square into coefficient of x raised to the power 0, which means the constant term. So you should remember this formula. X is equals to minus of b plus minus root b square minus 4ac upon 2a, or you can also write it as minus b plus minus root of d upon 2a. What is this? See, x, as I said that the equation is quadratic, so it will have 2 roots. Now if I say that the roots are alpha and beta, so I can say that these are the 2 roots, which means that one root will be minus b plus root of d upon 2a, another root will be minus b minus root of d upon 2a. These are the 2 roots of my quadratic equation. Now you can clearly see that if anyhow my d comes out to be less than 0, so I can say that my roots will be imaginary. If my d is equal to 0, then my roots are equal, which means that 2 roots I obtained will be equal. If my d is more than 0, so it will be 2 different roots. Now let's see the mean and median. You must be pretty much familiar with the mean and median. Mean is nothing but it is found by adding up all the values and we divide the number by n, which means the total number of values. Then we have, suppose we have the number as 417, so it will be nothing but 4 plus 1 plus 7 upon 3, which means the sum of values upon the number of values. Formula is here, sum of numbers upon number of numbers. So median is nothing but if I order all the elements, which means that if I sort the elements, then the middle element will be nothing but the median. Now you might say that for an odd number of elements I will have a middle element, but what about the even number of elements? So for the even number of elements I will take the average of 2 elements, 2 middle elements. You can clearly see that for the formula, as the median will be nothing but n plus 1 by 2th term, and for the even number of elements it will be nothing but nth term and n by 2 plus 1th term. After that we have the mode. So mode is nothing but the most frequently occurring element. So for any series we will have the frequency of every element, and the most frequently occurring element will be nothing but mode itself. Now we have the basic formula as mode is equals to 3 into median minus 2 into mean. So yeah, it's all for this video. I hope that you guys learned something new, and in the next video we will see the prime factors and HCF and LCM problem. So yeah, let's wrap up the video right here. Until then, be happy with coding. Bye.